Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. I don't have a 7, but through an N I would have penumbra. I can't see any other 8-letter bingos. This rack should be fairly easy to sort out. A play of bum or bump or even bumper should score reasonably well and leave a decent rack leave. I'm wondering if there is a further 8-letter bingo through the right floater. M and P have some synergy, and so do U and M. And I've also got the up prefix. My opponent's taking a while over his opening move, over a minute and a half. He may be close to a bingo. Changing one tile. Well, that suggests he is close to a bingo, in which case I'm going to play off as few tiles as possible. You'll note that by playing 3 letters, he has no access at all to double word squares. That looks pretty good. Through an R, I would have parergon. Through a D, pondager. Or is it dognapper? Or both? Do I have a 7-letter bingo? This is a very bingo-y looking rack, but I haven't seen a 7 so far. What about the floaters that are on the board? Okay. Now, the R that my opponent has played is not in the right spot for parergon, which is a shame. Do I have anything through the other floaters? Can't see anything through the W. Or the A. What about the I? That would give me the ing ending, but opera-ing isn't good. So, how about the T? Certainly would be a high probability bingo if there is one through the T. Well, it's not coming to mind. It would be an anagram of petragon. Just can't see it. What about the E? Now I've got the AGE ending. Well, this is a frustrating rack because I feel there could well be a bingo here. And since my opponent has already bingoed, it would be great to come straight back with one of my own. Okay, time to stop looking. What do I want to play off? My P is my scoring tile. So, where can I play that? Well, I could play wrong in row B. That doesn't feel good. Well, I could just play Po down here, keeping anger. I still feel there could be a bingo here. But I think I've run out of time looking for it. Fantastic. I draw the first blank. I'm looking in column 8 to see if I've got a bingo beginning with the U of bums, which would probably be a bingo beginning UN. I've got gunnerers beginning one square above the U. Actually, I ought to be looking first in row E to see if I've got a double-double through the T of waiters. So I've got pregnant, but pon is no good. I've got regnant as a 7. So, do I have anything with a T? Well, not that I've seen so far. Let me run through the alphabet, imagining, or seeing the tiles and imagining the T is on my rack. Nothing so far. Well, that looks close to gangrene. I would need an E for that. Well, there is an E in row F. Doesn't score very much. Now, does this go with a T? Not sure. If it does make an 8, it makes an 8 with the 6-letter set retain, which is the most bingo-y set of 6 tiles. So it's retain plus NG. My opponent is taking a while over his move. Maybe he's going to play another bingo. Unlikely to be a bingo with 3 ends. Now, what about nonager? Not sure about that. It may just be nonagers. Now, I'm still imagining there's a T along with this. Right, well, that T spot's been taken out, so let me go straight back to here. And gunnerers has also been taken out, but I have a better spot for gunnerer, which is across here. And at least I'm getting value from the B and the M to boost the score in the absence of a double or triple word square. So 73 points, that's not bad. And I'm opening the board up, which I want to do, because my opponent is likely to be ahead after his next move. Now, this isn't great. I've got too many vowels. I've got no scoring tiles. So I can't take advantage of the triple word square at H1 to good effect. In terms of sorting this rack out, it would be nice to play the U. But that's going to be tricky. Out eat and out 8 are good, but there's no floating A. I could just play double E in column 11, making T and double E. Only 10 points, and I'm keeping the U and a vowel-heavy rack leave. Well, U just good. That plays in column 3. That would play off E, U, and E, and the rack leave then of ENOT would be good. But Yuja is scoring even less. 6 points. Do I have anything through the first N of Gunnera? My opponent is taking a long time over his moves. I may be able to play quickly and have him succumb to time trouble. I note that he's just challenged Gunnera and lost 5 points as a consequence. Now, I think there must be something better on this board that I haven't thought about. I could play Roue in row G, but I think changing is better than doing that because that opens up such an easy scoring spot in the triple word square at the end of row H. So I'm really looking to score about 15 points and have a decent rack leave in order to prefer playing to changing. I've got tongue in column 3, which would keep 2 E's. That's worth thinking about. Because by playing off 5 tiles, I'm increasing the chances of drawing an S, a blank, or a scoring tile. Great, only 5 points for my opponent. So I'm quite drawn to tongue. Well, let me think about this. It's not going to score very much. This is a much better rack leave than double E, so I think I will go with the best possible rack leave. Great, that is a balanced rack. I don't think I have a bingo, but I've got a great scoring tile in the X. Now, my X would fit beautifully at H4 on just where my opponent's played. But the X still goes in that spot. Oh, well, I could just play the X, 42 points, and my rack leave is pretty good. So do I want to, or can I extend this play? So I could have a play beginning exult, doesn't quite reach the double word square. Yeah, I can't see a way of reaching a double word square, in which case this is fine. And I'm playing quickly, so my opponent's clock is ticking down. And I have a small lead now of 23 points. Well, no scoring tiles. And not many floaters on the board at the moment. There is a hot spot in column 2 next to this, well, just where my opponent has played. 38 points for him, so he now takes the lead. Now, I can't play in column 1 because I've got nothing to go to the left of the G. That would require an A or a U. Do I have a bingo through any of the floaters in Bring? Can't see anything through the G. I have lenition through the N, but it's in the wrong spot, as are the 2 N's in Gunnera. They're simply not in the right place for playing lenition. Does lenition have an anagram? Not one that I can think of. Now, what I could do is play Noil down here, which takes out the triple word square at 01. Rack leave, not great. Does score 17 points, which is not bad from a rack of only 1 pointers. Now I have Iolite as a 6-letter play, which I could play in row E. I don't really like the rack leave of EIT. Bring only takes an S after it. So this introduces a little bit of extra volatility. I am behind, so I don't mind that. This provides quite a few hotspots in and around Iolite, but my opponent's player Bring has provided some hotspots towards the bottom left of the board, so I think I'd rather have a more open board and see if I draw well and can outpower my opponent. Not great. I've got Dodkin though, which does play in column 1 to score quite a lot. I can't play in the bottom left because I still don't have an A or a U. Ah. 52 points. I'm just wondering about playing in column 11. I'm wondering about Donko. Not sure about that, but in any event, I was planning in case this spot was taken, and it has not been. Rackley's going to be good after this. I have a slight doubt as to whether this word is good, but I'm going to try it. If it stays on, it's 51 points. I have Profits, and that plays in row J, making map, or indeed 1 square to the left, making erp, and mar. And I think it has an anagram of 4 pits, which is a double-double in row K, making fee and or. But it's possible that both those spots could be taken. And there's a third anagram, Sportif, which plays in row O, making brings. So I'm optimistic of bingoing. Now my opponent has got under 10 minutes left. Great, my opponent's challenged and Dodkin was good, so he loses 5 points. I now have a 3-point lead, but I have pretty much a guaranteed bingo next go. And if I can play 4 pits in row K, it's going to be a massive score, possibly 100 plus. The bottom left of the board is quite hot. A play of Zeal would score over 40. Four pits will be nice because it won't be providing any floaters for a bingo. I don't have anything beginning with the D, the first D of Dodkin. I'm looking around for anywhere else to play the bingos, the 3 bingos that I have on my rack. I'm just wondering, for future reference, whether Waiters takes an A in front. Waiters. Sounds reasonable. In which case, I missed a much better spot for Gunnerer. Ah, brilliant. My opponent's played Ot. That's no good. Fantastic. One of the best feelings in Scrabble, challenging off a phony. Not quite as good as getting away with a phony. But they're both good. Now 4 pits, 110 points. I draw the Q, no I to go with it. Onto an F I would have Wakth. My F for 4 pits is not in the right spot for that. I guess I should have checked what Sportive scored in row O, but it wouldn't have been as much as... Yeah, that would only have been a triple word square, so I'm fairly confident 4 pits scores more where I've played it. Now, where am I going to play my Q? I can play it in column 4 above the second eye of Iolite for 22 points, and then I'm retaining a balanced rack, including a scoring tile in the W. Now, if I keep the Q, there are 2 I's and 2 U's to come, and a whole bunch of A's. Can I score well with my W? I'm looking in column 8 to see if I've got something beginning with the P of 4 pits. But I don't think Pawan is good. Now I do have an A for going in front of the G of bring. Ah. Is Z-O-A-E good? Or is it Z-O-A-E-A only? I ought to know that and don't. My opponent has changed. I think when in doubt one should always err on the side of playing the Q. Now have I missed any other Q spots? I do have an A for making cat and an N for making chin. Ah, well I could play chin now, but since I've got so many vowels I think the N is better placed staying on my rack. I can't see anywhere else for the Q. Okay, well, normally the V's a bad tile, but right now it's not because it's helping to balance a vowel-heavy rack. And it goes quite nicely with the other tiles on this rack. I don't have a play beginning with the Z unless Z-O-A-E is good, and I'm just not confident about that. Now, do I have anything beginning with the P of 4 pits? Paven is good. 33 points, that's a decent score. And that would leave W-O-E, which is quite a nice rack leave as we approach the end of the middle game. I have a 140-point lead. So my opponent needs at least 1 bingo, but I note that the second blank is still out there, in which case it may be worth looking to play off more tiles. Now, I like Paven because it scores well, the rack leave is good, and it is obstructing my opponent putting the S on the end of bring. So, Paven, 33 points. I pick up a whole bunch of vowels, but I do have the W for score, so hopefully I can keep scoring. And I've now got the Zeal, where my opponent has just played Fortunately, he was not able to use the Z and only scores 15 points. Well, I have value and a vowel through the V of Paven, but unfortunately both of those stop 1 square short of the double word square, so are no good. Allow is a good 5-letter play, but I can't see anywhere great for that. So this is actually quite a tricky rack to deal with. And I don't have very long to consider it. I certainly need to split up the U and the W, and I think I'm going to have to play the W for score. So I could play woe in column 3, That would score over 20 points. Rackley, pretty awful. Double A, L and U, but there are no U's left, and only one L. Can I do something better with the V of Paven? And maybe I could start the play further to the left to take advantage of FE and OR. So that would require, or I could have my A or my E here. Ah, do I have weave? No. 8.5 minutes left. Nope, can't see anything great there. I really don't like playing woe in column 3. I'm just inviting a nightmare next go. Gosh, sometimes racks are harder than they initially appear. This looked a reasonable rack. I just want to avoid getting into problems next go. I can't... Ah, well, is now the time to try awaiters? I think it is. I've got a 140-point lead. Now, how can I place my A here and get the play tripled and play off the W as well? Well, I could play our wall, W-A-U-L, won't hit the triple, and allow, A-L-O-U-E, also doesn't. I think this is the only way I can get my W involved in the score. It's 29 points, which is quite good. And if it stays on, I have the second blank. And if it stays on, it will also mean that I missed a good score when I played Gunnerer. Now, is my opponent going to challenge? If this does stay on, do I have a bingo? There are a few floaters to consider in Paven. I've got the IFY ending. I've got the beginning. But this doesn't look promising. It just doesn't look a great set of tiles. But there are 16 tiles left, so hopefully I can play off the unbingo-y tiles and maximise my prospects of bingoing. I could play YOU in column 3, making day and O-ho. That would leave a decent rack leave of EFL blank, and then even if I don't have a bingo, I should be able to score well. 25 points for that. Now I've got the fully ending, so beginning with a W I would have woefully, or through an L. Neither of those are available. It doesn't matter how far ahead you are, it's always annoying to miss a bingo because you spend most of your time in between games studying bingos. Most of your Scrabble time, that is. So certainly U is my preferred play at the moment, especially as I note there are 3 O's unplayed. My opponent has got under 3.5 minutes left. Wow, great bingo by my opponent. I wasn't expecting that since I have the blank. He hasn't provided the letters for woefully. I think I'll leave those floaters alone and play you. My opponent has probably got an S, so will make detectors, but in so doing, he's likely to open up column 14, so I want to maximise my bingo prospects. So you for 25. Now, do I have something? Dewfall works as a 7. But there are no rows for a 7. So all I have are the floating O and R of detector. It shouldn't matter, I'm 110 points ahead. There are 6 tiles in the bag. So supposing my opponent does play in column 15, thereby enabling a 7-letter play in column 14, do I have any further bingos? I have flailed, F-L-A-I-L-E-D. And if he does play in column 15, then the O of detector will remain available. So what would a bingo look like with O in second last place? Great, dewfall and ale, fantastic. Even better, flailed. So flailed, 76 points. I have a very nice final rack. I can see what my opponent's got. I don't think he has a bingo. He doesn't have a 7. I can't see anything through the R. His tiles are at the bottom of the screen. He could play cozy and detectors. That's going to score quite well. If he does, can I go out? Woves is not good. I have evos and those as 4-letter plays. I've got 5 minutes to find an out. Cozy is going to be really unhelpful because nothing can go in front of the C. Neither those or evos plays in column 13 alongside flailed. Aid takes an E after it. That doesn't help me. Ah, well, I do have those in row B, so I am going out. I've either got those and detectors in column 15 or those and as in row B, which is good. Means I can relax and decide how much time I want to spend finding something better. Well, I've hit the 500 mark, which is good. But it is good practice to find the best out. Well, I'm busily scanning the board, not with any particular logic. Can't see anything, so... Ah, well, evos is going to score more than those. That's good. Nice to get the V tripled. Evos are now 17 points. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 380 to my opponent, 534 to me, a winning margin of 154 points, so huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He changed one tile. Well, bumper for 30. I prefer playing bum for a lot less and having a bingo rack leave, especially knowing that my opponent was close to a bingo. He played waiters. Now, did I miss a bingo here? No, I didn't. But there's the confirmation that a waiters is good. I could have played Ponga for 35. I'm sure whatever I played was significantly inferior. Yeah, Po for 16, so that was a miss. Now, did I have a bingo here? This is my gunnerer play, which would have played in row 1. I had Ganister as a double-double in row E, a 9-letter play, difficult to spot. And then all the other plays there are really taking advantage of the awaiter's hook, so my bingo was suboptimal. Not a nice rack. And this is where I play Yuja for 7. Well, even the best play there scored 22 or 23 and retained the U, so Yuja's going to make up most of the difference between its measly score and the slightly better scores of the alternative plays. This is where I played Jer for 42, keeping EIL-NOT. I could have got 6 more points and kept INOT. Possibly that would have been worth doing, because I would have then have had the T for the Exalt hook and EIL-NOT, although they are 6 bingo-y tiles. Well, it's not a fabulous set of tiles. The L and the N and the T, all 3 of them together, aren't great. Now, this is where I saw Lanishan. It wouldn't play. Wow, big miss. Etiolin. Certainly should have spotted that, one of the highest probability bingos that exists. So, big miss there. Nothing else was playable. And that certainly would have been, in simulation, a big loss, because after Iolite, my rack leave is very poor, so it's not going to make up for the lost bingo. I'm not going to be bingoing next go very often. Dodkin for 51 looks best. Horrible rack for my opponent. 4 pits, 110. Great time to get a score that big. Powan was good for 33, but I prefer playing off the cue. This is where I struggled. Ah, gosh, I overlooked the awaiter's hook again, but I got 33 for Paven, so actually this wasn't the rack I was thinking about as being a struggling one. This was. I played Awa for 29, and actually that looks fine. Nice bingo by my opponent. Did I have one? Yes, rye flour. That would have been immense. Gosh, that is such a nice word. Very difficult to see. I did know the word, but I was a million miles away from actually spotting it. Instead, I played U, which is a non-bingo, looks okay, but certainly not as good as playing rye flour. Okay, that was my opponent's choices. This was my flailed rack. And I saw flailed and dewfall. What I didn't see was falderol, which was the bingo through the O of detector, which if my opponent had played in column 15 would have been the only available one, probably. And Elfland I also didn't see, but fortunately one of the ones I did see did play. And finally, Evos for 17 was the best. So, a cracking game, huge score, lots of bingos, but also a couple of missed bingos. Etiolin, a big miss. Rye flour, well, that's just the sort of miss that you can't beat yourself up over. It's great if you spot it, and if you don't, well, you've just got to accept it's a difficult word to say. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching that game and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.